and welcome back to another Absurd Heroine video. So today I figured I'd play some sealed because I felt like it. So let's go. Yes, confirm. What did we get? Stuff. A Johnny, Soren, Tamio, Massacre Girl, Ugin. Oh my god. This is great. I have no idea what I should play. Okay, so let's see what we got. So those are all great cards. Let's take another look at them real quick because I didn't really explain them. So rares and mythics. Okay, so we got, oops, not lands. Finale of Revelation. Draw X cards. If X is 10 or more, instead shuffle your graveyard into your library, draw X cards, untap 5 lands, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Exile Finale of Revelation. I mean, that's pretty strong. Draw X cards. We're probably never ever going to be doing the 10 or more part of it, but that's pretty sweet. What else we got? Massacre Girl. Menace. 4/4 for 5. When Massacre Girl enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Whenever a creature dies this turn, each creature other than Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. Okay, so she can wipe the board so long as everything is dying sequentially, right? So if there's a 1/1, a 2/2, a 3/3, a 4/4, a 5/5, so on and so forth, she can just like wipe the field. That seems really strong. Soren, Vengeful Bloodlord. We know this guy. We got him before. As long as it's your turn, creatures and planeswalkers you control have lifelink. Soren, Vengeful Bloodlord, deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker, and he can also return target creature with converted mana cost X from graveyard to the battlefield, and it becomes a vampire. So Johnny, creatures you control have vigilance. You gain 3 life. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control and a loyalty counter on each planeswalker you control. Other planeswalker you control, not him. Yeah, that's important. Each other planeswalker you control. Interesting. Okay. Then we have Tamio, Collector of Tales. Spells and abilities your opponents control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents. Can't talk. +1 is choose a non-land card name, then reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all cards with a chosen name among them into your hand and the rest into your graveyard, and then return a card from your graveyard to your hand. So that's interesting. I mean, this can be really strong. I don't know how good it is in limited. So we'll see. And then Ugin, the Ineffable. Colorless spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. And then +1, exile the top card of your library face down and look at it. Create a 2/2 colorless spirit creature token, and when that token leaves the battlefield, put the exiled card into your hand. Okay. And then -3, destroy target permanent that's 1 or more colors. So that's really, really strong. So we're going to play with that no matter what, because he's colorless, you know what I mean? And it looks like Massacre Girl is really, really strong. I'm probably not going to play Tamio, but we'll see where the colors land. Because right now we could do like green, black, blue, white, which is Abzan. Or we could do... green, blue, white. But then we wouldn't be playing Massacre Girl. I don't know. Okay, let's take a look and see what we got. Oops, sorry. Cancel. Didn't mean to do that. Let's remove our filters and see what we have here. Charmed Stray is cute. So we have Defiant Strike, getting Sacrifice. This is good. Wait, is this good? No, this is weird. Sorry. I thought that was something else. Divine Arrow. I thought it was this one. Gideon's Triumph. Divine Arrow, deal 4 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. That's good. These are, so removal, what we're looking for in sealed, which I didn't explain the last couple sealed videos that I put out, is that we're looking for bread, right? That is what you want to be looking for, bread. So that is bombs. Bomb is something like Massacre Girl that just like destroys everything, right? She can be a bomb in certain situations, right? So that's what you're looking for. Numero uno, you're looking for your bombs. Number 2, you're looking for the R in bread, so brr, right? We're looking for removal. That's removal. Then the E part is evasion, right? So we're looking, that would be like flying or menace, for example. She's got evasion, flying, menace, trample, like all that kind of stuff that kind of gets around and gets in is very, very strong. So those are the big things that we're looking for. And I'll explain the rest of the bread when I remember what the other E stands for, or the other A stands for. And then D, the very last thing is Dirtlers, which is just like whatever. It's just like filler, card filler. But I can't remember what the A is, so I'm sorry. But those are the big ones. The bombs, the removal, and the evasion. So let's see, what do we want? So removal, right? That's kind of what I look at second. I look at bombs first, removal second. So we have Divine Arrows, good removal. Gideon's Triumph is also good removal. These guys are kind of dirtlers, right? So Prison Realm is good removal. And then Wanderer Strike is good removal. So white has a pretty good removal kit, but like nothing else. So let's see what blue has. Wall of Runes, Callous Dismissal, that's kind of like tempo removal. Kasmina's Transmutation is actually really good because it deals with gods. It's like one of the only cards in this limited set that deals with gods. So that's good removal. Teferi's Time Twist is also decent in certain situations. That could reset our Massacre Girl, which would be really cool. That's a pretty cool synergy interaction there. Aven Eternal, this is good because it's got evasion, right? And then it's a dude on the field, right? And it's a 3 power and 3 toughness for 3. So when you're looking at how to judge whether a creature is good or not, what you usually want to look at is, do they have evasion, right? So this guy has evasion. Yes, he has evasion. And then do they have good power? Are they efficient? Like, do they have good power and toughness for how much they cast, for how much they cost to cast? In this case, yes. He costs 3, right? And he's only a 2/2 for 3, which is not great, right? If that was all you were getting was a 2/2 for 3, then that's not a good card. But he's got flying, which is good. So a 2/2 for 3 with flying is good, but he also has a mass 1, and a mass 1 creates another 1/1 creature token. So that's 3 power and 3 toughness for 3, and part of it's flying. Like, so this is like a good card for limited. It's a good card for limited. Then we have Spellkeeper Weird. Spellkeeper Weird's okay if you have a lot of instants and sorceries in your cards. Stealth Mission, also kind of okay. Crush Descent, this is a very expensive card. I don't really like this card because it's so expensive. If it wasn't so expensive, then it's like, okay, that would be great. Like maybe if it was for just 3, it would be amazing. But it's just like a quench with a mass 2, which is like, okay, that's okay. Rescuer Phoenix. This can be good. This could also reset our Massacre Girl, so maybe we want to be blue. This is a 3/2 for 4 with flying, and it can be a 4/3 for 4 with flying, which is great. So that's a good card. Tamiyo's Epiphany is also pretty good. Scry 4, draw 2 for 4. That's pretty good. So, and then Finale of Revelation. So our blue is actually, we don't have a ton of blue, but our blue is like pretty good. We don't really have any... we don't have much removal in blue. We have Kasmina's Transmutation, and this is kind of like tempo. It's not really removal. Okay, let's see what we got for black. Banehound, Lifelink Haste, not bad. These are just like early creatures that can get in. Dreadmalkin is another early creature that can get in. Kaya's Ghost Form. I haven't been like super impressed by Kaya's Ghost Form, but in limited, it's probably not awful. Spark Harvest, this is a good removal spell. So it can kill a creature or planeswalker. You might have to sacrifice, but you don't have to. You can pay a whole bunch to not sacrifice a creature, but if you get some like dirtlers early in, then usually they're useless late game anyway, so that gives you a reason to use them. All right, Dusk Metal Operative. This is okay. That's okay. A 2/2 for 2. And can't be blocked by certain creatures. That's okay. Unlikely Aid. This is a nice combat trick. Target creature gets +2/+0 and gains indestructible. Not bad. Vampire Opportunist. So this is a 2/1 for 2. This is like bad. If you don't really ever want to cast something that only has 1 toughness, unless it's like a turn 1 play. Or has like some really great ability when it comes in. So this guy can't block for crap, right? You don't want to really use it. It's practically useless until late game, where you dump all of your mana into it to like have some ability. And that's good to have some sort of mana dump late game. And that's the only reason that this card is good, is to do something late game. But it's just so useless in all other cases, so it's kind of not what you want. Shriek Diver, 2/1 for 3. So this is awful, right? Because it's only got, I mean, it's got flying, all right? So it's got flying, that's decent. It's not as bad as it could be. But its ability is practically useless. It's only good on the first turn that it comes out. And you want to be casting a card like this on the curve anyway, so you want to be casting it on the third turn. And then it's got 1 toughness. Like, it's just, it's not very good. Spark Reaper. Spark Reaper, sacrifice a creature or planeswalker. You gain 1 life and draw a card. That's okay. That's okay. But it's just okay. It's kind of expensive to sacrifice a creature or a planeswalker, like, to just draw a card and gain a life, you know? But it is a 2/3, so it could be a good blocker. So it could be a fiddler. Like, this would be a D, right? So this would be just like a dork. Just a dirtler. Toll of the Invasion. Target opponent reveals their hand, choose an non-land card from it. That player discards that card, amass 1. So this isn't that bad in limited, but it's absolutely useless in any other case because there's just better cards that do exactly what this thing does. So I probably wouldn't play with that. Vizier of the Scorpion. When it enters, amass 1, and then zombie tokens you control have Death Touch. I mean, the Death Touch is cute, but it's a 1/1, and it doesn't get Death Touch. Your amass token basically gets Death Touch, which if you're playing amass anyway, you would have a really big amass creature, so you don't really care too much about this. You don't care too much about the Death Touch part of it. I don't know. It's kind of meh. Vraska's Finisher. When Vraska's Finisher enters the battlefield, destroy target creature or planeswalker an opponent controls that was dealt damage this turn. This is kind of bad. I've never been able to pull this off. I've had other people pull it off against me, but I have not pulled it off. Maybe that's because I just haven't tried very often. But I don't think that's really that great. Charity Extractor. A 1/5 for 4. So lifelink. Like, this is another cool dirtler. Like, it's not bad. It's a good blocker, you know. It's a good blocker, but that's about it. Bond of Revival. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield. It gains haste until your next turn. This is, like, pretty decent, actually. This is pretty good, especially in limited. Like, if you have, like, some big creatures that you can just get back real fast, this could take over some stuff. Could swing the game in your favor. And okay, so that's black. So black's looking kind of mediocre, honestly. Massacre Girl is, like, the only really good black card. It's the only card that's like, oh, yeah, black. And maybe Spark Harvest. Maybe. It's not even that great removal. Black's usually like your removal color, and we don't really have very much. So like Bond of Revival and Spark Harvest are kind of like the only exciting things in here. Beyond Massacre Girl, of course. So that's unfortunate. We might not be playing Massacre Girl. We'll have to see what the other colors look like. Sunwood Sprint. I guess since I've started explaining everything, I might as well just keep going, huh? Sunwood Sprint. Target creature gets +2/+1 and gains haste until end of turn. Scry 1. So this is pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's a good combat trick. Scry 1. Yeah. Burning Prophet. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, Burning Prophet gets +1/+0 until end of turn. Scry Run. Yeah, that's also pretty good. Goes well with Summit Sprint. You know? Yeah. Chandra's Pyrohelix. Here we go. There's some removal. Chandra's Pyrohelix deals 2 damage divided as you choose among 1 or 2 targets. So that's good. It's good. It's very good removal. 2 damage for 2. Chandra's Triumph. 3 damage for 2. That's really good. Deals 5 damage if you have a Chandra, which we don't. Heartfire is okay in certain decks that are built around. The good thing is that you can do it to any target. So sacrifice a creature or planeswalker, deal 4 damage to any target. So this is like a good finisher, for example. Or if you're really desperate to take care of a creature or a planeswalker, like 4 damage is a lot. 4 damage is a lot for 2. Yeah. Honor the God Pharaoh. As an additional cost to cast the spell, discard a card. Draw 2 cards, amass 1. So this is like, what, Tormenting Voice with a mass on top of it. So, it's, in certain decks, I'm sure this would be pretty good if you want to get some stuff into your graveyard. Otherwise, it's kind of, All right, Demolish. Destroy target artifact or land. Useless. Useless in this case. Nobody ever plays Demolish. And it's useless because it's very expensive, number 1. And number 2, like, this isn't really an artifact or land kind of heavy meta right now. So, yeah. Goblin Assault Team. Haste, 4/1. That's, when it dies, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature control. This is good. This is pretty good. Comes out of nowhere, and it, kills something, most likely, or deals a ton of damage, and then once it dies, it gets a counter on another one of your creatures. That's pretty decent. Chain Whip Cyclops, the guy who wins the flavor text battle. You say this 10th district, not Rubble Belt, but where smash happened, that Rubble Belt. Rubble Belt state of mind. Urgdar, Cyclops philosopher. It's pretty good. But the card is all right. This is a dork. Like, this is kind of just right? So it's a 4/4 for 5, which is like all right, not that great. It's not super efficient, but it does let creatures, target creature can't block this turn, but it's expensive. Like, if the ability was a little bit less expensive, I think this would be way better, but it's not. It's just too expensive. Sarkhan's Catharsis. Sarkhan's Catharsis deals 5 damage to target player or planeswalker. Is good. It's good in the set because you have so many planeswalkers that this is just a good removal for planeswalkers, or it can like end the game if you want. It's like a lava axe, but can also hit planeswalkers. It's good. Yeah. Then for green, we have Forced Landing. Put target creature with flying on the bottom of Silver's library. This is like good if you're playing against a flying creature. Like, that ability is like awesome, right? Because say your opponent has a Kefnet out, right? This gets rid of the Kefnet, right? This gets rid of a god because you can't, it's not killing it or exiling it. It's like effectively just removing it from the game by putting it on the bottom of the library. So this is a really good card if you're against a flying creature. Like, it's so specific. I have not yet been able to make this card work for me in limited, or, you know, sealed or drafting or whatever. So I don't know. Like, it's just a filler. I think this is a good filler card. And if you get it to work, that's great. But if you don't get it to work, then that sucks. You know, that's just, you have to like decide whether you have enough removal in your deck or not, and you want to play that. All right, Nisa's Triumph. Search your library for up to 2 basic forest cards. If you control a Nisa Planeswalker, instead search for 3 land cards. So in limited, that's pretty much never going to happen. So this is all right if you're playing just green, or maybe 2 colors, with green being the main color. So yeah, I guess if you're playing 2, or if you're playing 3 and you're just very basic splashing, just very little bit splash for the third one, for the third color, that will work. Paradise Druid. This is a good card. Paradise Druid has hexproof as long as it's untapped. Add 1 mana of any color. So when I say that 1 toughness sucks, 1 toughness does suck, but this guy's got hexproof, so it's difficult to kill it, right? Say with like a Heartfire or something like that. And it's got a really good ability. Like, this ability, add 1 mana of any color, is strong in this set because you have so many good cards across all different types of colors. There's so many, you know, multicolored cards that having a Paradise Druid is like a really good thing to have. Okay, Pollenbright Druid. When Pollenbright Druid enters the battlefield, choose 1. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature or proliferate. Like, so this is good. So it's efficient, right? So it's a 1/1 for 2, but you get a +1/+1 counter somewhere else. So that's 2 power and 2 toughness for 2, which is good. And then it can also proliferate, depending if you have like a good deck that uses proliferate, like has a lot of planeswalkers in it or whatever. So that's pretty good. Snare Spinner, a 1/3 for 2, reach. When Snare Spinner blocks a creature with flying, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn. So yes, this is good. This is a good card. It's a good early drop. It protects you from getting hit with anything really early on. And yeah, I mean, Snare Spinner, yeah, reach is good. Steady Aim, untap target creature. It gets +1/+4 and gains reach until end of turn. So this is a fair combat trick. Yeah, this is a fair combat trick. Prevents you from killing, gives your dude a big butt, right? So it can block like something that's really big, and it untaps your creature. So it's like really out of the blue. So yeah, that's good. Cards in a Crisis. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, then proliferate. That's okay. This is very much so depending on your deck that you're playing, because the proliferate part of this is really the good part of it. It's expensive for what it does. If it's just put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, or rather it would be put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature because you're proliferating afterwards. It's a little expensive for that. But if you have a good proliferate deck, which we've got some proliferate here and some planeswalkers, so yeah, that's not bad in the type of deck that you would want it in. Crawl Stinger, very simple. Death Touch, 2/2 Death Touch. That's good. Death Touch is a good keyword. So even though it's 3, it's a 2/2 for 3. Death Touch is good because it can just get rid of anything. All right, Mo, Loyal Companion. Trample, Vigilance. If one or more +1/+1 counters would be put on Mo, Loyal Champion, then put that many +1/+1 counters, +1/+1 counters on it instead. Okay, so this is good, right? So it's a 3/3 for 4, but it's Trample, Vigilance. Vigilance is probably like one of the best keywords. And Vigilance is you can attack without tapping. So with Proliferate, which it seems like we do have, this is a really good card, right? Thundering Ceratok. Trample. When Thundering Ceratok enters the battlefield, other creatures you control gain trample until end of turn. It's okay. It's just okay, right? Because its ability is only when it enters the battlefield, and it doesn't get to attack too. If this had haste on top of it, like it would be really good, but it doesn't, right? So it's just you have to have other creatures out in the field in order for this to be good. But it is just kind of like a big beefy boy. You know, it's a 4/5 for 5. That's not bad. Trample. Ward Scale Crocodile. 5/3 hexproof. So this is okay. Like it's a 5/3 for 5. And it's got hexproof. Like it's just okay. It really is just okay. Like it can be a problem for certain decks, but it's just the 3 toughness makes it easy to kill. So I don't know. I don't know how I feel about that. Yeah, it's just okay. Arlen, Voice of the Pack. Each creature you control that's a wolf or werewolf enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it. Doesn't work with Momo, unfortunately, because Momo is a hound. And then create 2/2 green wolf creature with token. Yeah, I like her. She's great. Like, she just makes a bunch of wolves. And if you have Proliferate, which we have a lot of Proliferate in here, like, it's good, right? So we'll probably end up doing like some Proliferate nonsense here. Despark. Exile target permanent with a converted mana cost 4 or greater. It's good. It's a removal for 2. It's expensive. It only gets rid of expensive creatures, or permanents rather. But it's any permanent with a converted mana cost 4 or greater. Like, that's good. Like, late game, bam. Yeah. Sorin, Vengeful Bloodlord. Yeah, we've already went over this guy. He's good too. He is good. Bring creatures back from the graveyard. Invade the City. Amass X, where X is the number of instant or sorcery cards in your graveyard. This is not exciting. Like, it's just not exciting. Like, there are decks that deal with instant and sorceries, right? But those decks don't want Amass, you know? So, it's just kind of like, blah. It's just kind of blah. Yeah. I don't know if, yeah, it's just not very good. Domri's Ambush. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, and that creature deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. This is a great card. This is a great card. Like, you get value out of it. Unfortunately, you can't use it unless they have a creature or planeswalker out, but it gets value. Like, you get a +1/+1 counter, so it's like instant value right there, and then it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or planeswalker you don't control. Like, so it's not fighting, you know, it's not fighting that creature, it's just dealing its damage. And by fighting, I mean like the creature that you're targeting deals damage back to your creature. That doesn't happen, so you don't have to worry about losing your creature on top of it. Like, it's just good. It's just a good card. Huatli, the Sun's Heart. Each creature you control assigns combat damage equal to its toughness rather than its power, and then you gain life equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Very specific. Very, very specific. We would obviously need to check to see what the power and toughness is of each of our creatures in order to want to use this. But she's not expensive, you know, so if it works in the deck, like, it works. That's, yeah. Pledge of Unity. Put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. You gain 1 life for each creature you control. Yeah. Yeah, that's good. If you're in green white and you are Proliferate, which we very well might be, then this is a good card. Johnny the Greathearted, we went over this guy. Yeah, he's good. Creatures you control have vigilance. Like, just that by itself is like good. So, Neoform. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a creature, and then search your library for a creature card with the converted mana cost equal to 1 plus the sacrificed creature's converted mana cost. Put that card in the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, then shuffle your library. I'm sad that we didn't get a Koira, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but very specific. I mean, this is obviously, you can't cast it on a creature. You have to know your deck, and then you can't cast it on a creature who has a converted mana cost, like, you have to cast it on a creature whose converted mana cost is equal to that +1 of something else that's in your deck. It's hard to like articulate. You know what I'm talking about. But like, if you have it in your hand and there's no creature that you can search for that matches this description, then it's like, it's not good. So yeah, but it is good in other case. Like, it's cheap, you know, so it could be good to ramp. Like, anyway, and then Tamiyo is okay. Like, in limited, she's just okay, really. Like, if you know what's in your deck and you have a lot of multiples, then it's all right. Otherwise, you're just kind of like milling yourself. But you can return target card from your graveyard to your hand. Like, that's a good one. That's good. The Herminus is good in limited. All right. Emergence Zone. Sacrifice Emergence Zone. You may cast spells this turn as though they had flash. Not very good. Specific. Gateway Plaza. Gateway Plaza enters the battlefield tapped. When Gateway Plaza enters the battlefield, sacrifice it unless you pay one, and then add 1 mana of any color. So this is good in limited. Like, if you want to play like 3 colors, having a Gateway Plaza is great. So we're probably going to play with at least 1. Prismite. Add 1 mana of any color. Okay, so this is a really bad card. So it's 2/1 for 2, which is like not efficient, right? And it's got 1 toughness, so it's like practically useless. And then you tap 2 to add 1 mana of any color. So it's like a fixer, but it's not an efficient fixer. It's just such a bad card. It's just such a bad card. I don't like it. I don't like it. And then Iron Bully. Menace. When Iron Bully enters the battlefield, pull a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So it's got evasion, right? It's a creature with evasion, which is good. And then it gives a +1/+1 counter. So it could be a 2/2, right? Obviously, it's a 1/1 for 3, which is bad. But if you have things that work with +1/+1 counters, like, say, Proliferate, which has been the keyword of the day, keyword of the deck build, I should say. Okay. So it looks like we're going to be proliferating. Okay, so we're going to have, I mean, black, there's some, like, really good black in here. So maybe we're just very, very gently splashing the black. Because what did we say? Our black was kind of meh, right? Right. Our black was meh, other than Massacre Girl and, like, Sorin and D-Spark. Unfortunately, if we're splashing black, we can't really do Massacre Girl, because that's 2 black, which would be very difficult to do. So let's do what we know we're probably going to do, which is green-white, right? So Ajani, Pledge of Unity. Let's put in a Gateway Plaza. Arlen. Let's put in the Mowu. Crawl, Stinger. Kurgan Crisis, because we actually have quite a bit of Proliferate here. Snare Spinners, Pollen Bright Druid, Paradise Druid. Nisa's Triumph. I don't know yet about that. Okay. And then we had quite a few good cards in white, yes? So Charm Stray works great with Proliferate. Or wait. Oh, wait, no, it doesn't, because we only have 1. Darn. But I might keep it anyway, just as a 1-drop. Divine Arrow, Gideon's Triumph. Defiant Strike's a good combat trick. Pouncing Lynx is pretty good. Prison Realm is good. Trusted Pegasus. And Wander Strike. I just realized I didn't actually go over these creatures. But that's fine. These are okay. Just okay. We could do a War Screecher. Because it's a 1/3 flying for 2, which is pretty good. And the ability is bad. It's wicked expensive. But we could put it in, and it could just be a late game mana dump, you know? So now that we have all of our green, do we want Iron Bully too? We might want Iron Bully. We could just add more green or more white, or we could splash for something. Is there something very specific that I'd like to splash for? Sorin comes to mind. Sorin comes to mind. Huatli. I'm sorry, we didn't pick up Huatli. Do we want Huatli? So let's see. Let's take a look at our creature's toughness. So it wouldn't work very well with Lynx. It would work well with there. No, no. Yes. Not really matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. Wait, how many creatures do we have? Doesn't even look like we have a lot. So it would work with most of our stuff, honestly. So let's put her in. I mean, it would work with some of our stuff and wouldn't matter. It doesn't matter to some of our other stuff. So it could just be life gain. I don't know. We'll see how it works. I'll put her in. Do we want to splash black for Sorin? I mean, we have a deck. We have a deck and it doesn't look like a bad deck either. Like, there's not a lot of crap in here. I think this is fine, honestly. I don't think we need to splash for Sorin. How much removal do we have? We have good combat tricks. We have a good combat trick. We have more. Do we want to put in more combat tricks? Let's take a look at our removal first. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We have like 5 removal cards. It's not terrible. I've seen worse. Okay. Yeah, I think this is okay. I think this is okay. I don't think we want Steady Aim. Do we want Nisa's Triumph? I don't think so. I think this is, we have everything that we kind of want. All of our stuff kind of works together well. We have a good curve. Maybe we don't even need Gateway Plaza because we don't have 3 cards. Sorry, 3 colors. Okay. I think this is good. Yeah, so we're gonna build this. Let's make it, no. Who do we want? Who do we want? You. Proliferation. Because I'm not creative at all. I'm sorry. Okay, so that's good. So yeah, I'm gonna split this into 2 videos so that this is the deck building, because I ended up spending a lot of time on the deck building. Like, we spent half an hour just building the deck because I went through every single card. I'm not gonna do that every single time. I'm just gonna do it for maybe the first couple of sealeds that we play, because I think some people might enjoy that, the explanation of like what's going on and stuff like that. Okay. So the next video that comes up is going to be us playing some, okay? So I will see you in the next video. Bye.